and many have followed through. We also wrote a book for General Katumba Wamala, Professor Dr. Suruma, but this book has been the fastest to be published. Yes. And to me, Dr. Patricia deserves really a round of applause because she picked up a very rare zeal and enthusiasm for it. And before we knew, here we are. Thank you very much. This is a story that is a great pillar in our midst. At TFK Read Rate Club, we say that as food is to stomach, so is reading to the brain. Many of us are quick to look for what to feed our stomachs with, but are very slow to find what to feed our brains with. But at some point, we would wonder and say, probably they have a reason, because there's not so much to read. There's not so much food for the brain. So whoever writes a book deserves a resounding applause because he or she delivers to us a sumptuous meal for our brain. Now, the touch of humility is a pillar. It comes as a pillar in our society. And for that, we'll say what is in here, it is literal wisdom. And I also believe that whoever writes a book scatters seeds of wisdom. That whoever is wise and runs to pick them will improve and make better their lives. And so Dr. Patricia has just done that. She has generously scattered her seeds of wisdom through the realm of humility. And I hope that we will all go for it and partake of the wisdom that is held in here. So this book is published in hardback at 100,000 and in a paperback at 50,000 shillings. And so it will be our pleasure that we do the best possible at individual, organizational, and all levels possible, family level, school level, to be able to support the cause of this book. Humility, she also makes a profound statement that humility is actually power, as opposed to what it could readily be seen ideally. But when you read this book, you realize that there is power that takes root in humility. And what I have seen is that when you employ that, you actually get to enjoy both the process and the destination for where you're headed. So I invite you to be a part of the movement that will advance the cause for this book. Now, while writing this book, I took some time to discuss with Dr. Patricia, who said, it is one thing to write a book, but it's yet another to make a real, resounding, transformational change. How can you best do that? One, they will read your story, and those who are able to utilize it, it will make meaning for them and make them better. But then we thought that we need to have a cause attached to this book. And so we thought that it would be better to stand and use this book to promote the culture of reading and writing, which we do at TFK Luminary. And how do we do it? We want to touch the little ones, the children. And so we are saying that we will have a cause for this. When we call upon you to participate in the auction, we'll be telling you to stand with us in a cause to be able to promote reading and writing among children, where we can produce smaller children readers with transformational stories that can go to schools, especially schools and children who are in less privileged places. And we felt that that could be a cause well thought out to make the touch of humility a good rallying point. And so we have quite a number of these books, but also there are many students, mentees, especially under Dr. Patricia's programs, who may not afford this book. And so we are saying that while we do that cause, we'll be able to support the cause for making sure this book is printed in more numbers and make it more affordable for many people, and then it gets to meet its purpose. So I would like to keep my remarks brief, and thank you all for making the time to come. We're going to have a great day as we celebrate this milestone from Dr. Patricia. You will be transformed, I assure you, when you read this book, taking from this theme of the touch of humility. I would like to thank you so much and look forward for a great afternoon together. May the Lord bless you.
Thank you so much, TFK. Thank you so much, Frank, for those wonderful remarks. Now, just a little bit from this book, just to give you a little sneak peek and encourage you to buy it. Actually, if you're here and you don't go with it, you're making a very big mistake. On page 55, if you have the book, you may refer to it later, but there is something that really caught my attention about what Dr. Patricia mentions. She's talking about her PhD journey and how she got a little scared because of the challenges that she was facing. But there is a profound statement she makes and says, young people, do not fear challenges. I picked that out and I said, wow. There is a way in our generation we tend to fear challenges. When we are faced with a challenge, we are looking for a way out, or we are looking for a way of avoiding it. And yet, Dr. Patricia is encouraging us to face. We should not fear the challenges that we come across. Then also, on page 35, she talks about something I felt like I should highlight. She talks about shifting her focus from self-promotion to genuine connections. Self-promotion to genuine connections. How often we seek self-promotion. How often we want to be recognized. How often we want to be promoted. We want to get there, and it's about me and me and me. But Doctor reminds us that, you know what? It's more important to seek genuine connections. I suppose the Rotarian in her also speaks to that. Genuine connections impacting the world, through a world fellowship of, different professions united to serve, that kind of thing. So we thank you, Doctor, for such a piece that you have given us. Allow me at this time to move us to the next agenda item and request the family members who are supposed to take part in the panel discussion to move up here. And also I will call Frank Kabshenga back here to lead that conversation. Family members meant to be involved in the panel discussion, please come to the front. Frank, we are waiting for you up here. Yes, I want to excite you to read this book as they come. Let me give you another thing that she has mentioned in the book. And I've seen like it's a running theme in the book. And she's talking about her story when she goes to the Human Rights Commission. And she mentions that she realized that her main role there was to advocate for dignity. Dignity. I don't want to go to the other side, but when you look at what is going on around our country, when you look at what people are going through, a lot of things are happening. But Patricia says, in focusing on dignity, advocating as a lawyer, she's an advocate for dignity. And that's why I think the issue of humility comes into play. Dr. Patricia, before you walked in, I had a chance to talk to somebody who had a very interesting story about you. I was really, really amazed. And said, you spoke certain words into her life before she even thought that she would ever become what she has become. Before she even had an idea, she had lost hope that she would become something. So you meet this secondary school going child and you tell them, I see a fantastic lawyer in you. And this lady goes ahead to pursue that because of the words that you said to her. I mean, what a way of impacting lives. Thank you, Dr. Patricia, for the wonderful impact you're having in our community. Allow me to hand over the mic to the panelists to take us away with this conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now, we are going to show you just a snippet back at home. And so, with me is Mr. John Okiria, the husband to Dr. Patricia Achan Okiria. And also with us is Joel Okiria. Yeah. You're welcome to this discussion.
Thank you so much, Frank.
Yeah. It's going to be an easy one, and one that will come dressed in humility.
Thank you.
Because we are talking about the touch of humility. Yes. And so the first time I interacted with Mr. John Okiria, it was quite interesting to get to know the power that is not in the limelight. Yeah. It was very clear that there is a certain power that is with Dr. Patricia, our author of the day, that we do not usually see. Yep. And so we have now an opportunity to hear from you, Mr. Okiria, together with your son. So I'll start with you.
Okay.
And the question to start with is, you are not always in the media where Dr. Patricia is. And so when does your story with Patricia, with Dr. Patricia, begin? Just in brief. I know there is a lot in the book, but just as far as your memory can take you, just take us there and tell us, when does it begin?
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Praise God. Allow me to greet you generally in your different capacities. My name is Okiria, John Vincent, the husband of Patricia, Achan Okiria. I'm always behind the scenes, as Frank has said. Thank you for digging me out. Just going back to your question,
Yep.
Patricia and I met way back when we were still at secondary school. I was in the Busoga College in Mwiri, and she was in Wairaka. By then, we just met because of the Scripture Union. Then the sports used to do in the Bugembe. Now, that's where the friendship began.
Okay.
That way back. Now, what fired it up, vacation around there, when the Patricia shifted, we were staying in Luzira, Kirombe.
Okay.
But it also happened that they also shifted to Luzira, Kirombe.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you have anything to do with that shifting?
Nothing at all.
Or you prayed so hard that the shifting happens?
I was mesmerized. I couldn't believe it. And how I saw her, our home was a place with a junction, and they had gotten a shop besides, opposite our home. Mm-hmm. But that morning when I saw her, they had come to fetch water in our home. Because they just shifted, they were fetching water from our home.
So your home was the chief?
By then, we used to sell water at home. So, but then, incidentally, my mom and Patricia's mom had already met. You know, when they arrived, I think the older man wanted to know who are the people around that they already met. Actually, they knew each other. There's a Muteso lady in that home. Mom wanted to know much about us and have a belonging in a new place. So my mom told me also.
What you would say about your mom? She's written a book. She's done so much. I don't know, how best would you describe your mom in 3 words?
In 3 words, I would like to say she's loving, caring, and selfless. Yeah.
Lovely
Caring and selfless.
and selfless. All right. Lovely. And so what lessons could you share from the way she conducts herself, from the way she talks to you? Are there some lessons that you think you're picking or you have picked already that you're employing either at school or among your friends?
The main lesson I picked was her discipline. Her discipline, like the self-discipline she has, waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning every day. Like, not everyone does that. That's what I picked.
Okay. Yeah. In her story, she tells us she also does gymming and working out is part of her routine. Are you looking to joining her there?
There's a time I did, but our programs don't meet. I have to go to school at
Okay.
times, then, yeah.
Great. So, Mr. John Okiria,
Yes, please.
your husband to a wife who is so busy.
Yes.
And at a level where I am sure at some point a call will come that may not consider that you had planned to go to the beach. She has to go. How do you reconcile such moments? She has to go, and yet you had already set a plan, but a higher call comes, and she has to go.
Actually, her schedules came later after they already disappointed her because my schedules are so busy.
Okay.
And where I work, I have those routine cases.
Yeah.
There's a time when I went with her to work, late in the night.
Uh-huh.
So I'll escort you today. But my flight delayed, and we ended up coming back home at 8. Then she was supposed to be in office. She told me I will never go back with you to office again. Your work is too bad. So we understand the busy schedules. The issue is managing and communicating. There's those abrupt schedules.
Yep.
One of the unique things Patricia has is being adaptable. She's very adaptive
Okay.
to changes. She's not rigid. She's very dynamic when she gets something and willing to listen and share and look for solutions. So when such things happen, normally we find a way out.
Okay.
Yeah, where there was anniversary on 1st March, but she was in Gulu and I was at home. So we just accepted to take it the way it was, and maybe we shall celebrate it later. So it was my birthday yesterday, but 1.
Okay.
So we adapt and just.
All right. Back to Joel. Your mom has made a statement, and through writing this book, The Touch of Humility, have you gotten to a point where she has spanked you? Or you enjoy humility and not get anything like spanking when anything wrong is done on your end? And this could be you, it could be your siblings, would want to hear out how she deals with you when it comes to errors.
Me, in most cases, I was very, very much disciplined. Maybe when it came to my younger brother, there's a time about like 6 years back where, you know, this thing where people jeer after they have been told to do
Just
something.
put the mic close, yeah?
Where people jeer after they have been told to do something, yeah? So this guy jeered after mom had warned him from something and they pinched his mouth. That's all I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, you have known the right way to take.
Yes, yes.
That's encouraging. To you, back to you, Mr. Okiria.
Yes.
The humility that we are celebrating today in the form of a book.
Yes.
Are there some testimonies that you can pick from the goings on back at home that depict the humility that we are writing about? Are there some incidences that stand out profoundly for you at home with your wife?
There are many.
Just a few, like 3 or so.
Okay. Doctor, you see there, does not change. She's not a chameleon. If you get her at home, she's as simple as you see her.
Right.
Just to say something outstanding, by the way, which is unique, people who have known us, that doctor fits in any level. She does not use her ranks at home, leaves them at the gate. When she gets back home, she's a woman, a mother of the home. At home, we have had a house help. We call her house help, but for her, she's now our sister.
Yep.
We have had her for now 20 years.
Wow.
I don't know how many people have had housemaids for 20 years, but doctor has. And that is one of the outstanding things we see.
Yep.
Because we hear people crying about housemates, all that, but for our money to keep hers for 20 years. Doctor is very simple, and she's willing to share ideas, and she's willing to be corrected, accepts mistakes when she does make a mistake. She's willing to look for a solution. When she sees something is wrong, she loves round table talks. She doesn't want to sleep over a problem that can be solved immediately. No, she does her. Sort out the issue, we agree, find a solution, that's it. No pending issues. She doesn't like people like procrastinating, delaying issues, you promise and you don't do. No, you annoy her there. That's why we have challenges at times with me, given nature of work. But all the same, we clear it up and we move on. She's a very dynamic woman, simple, but very meticulous in whatever she